Lately, I've been doing my best to streamline, declutter, and organize pretty much every aspect of my life. I want to briefly thank today's show sponsor, Mercari. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about them in just a bit. But first, we are going to be working on my scrap wood pile and saving the wood from going to the dump. I've come up with 3 home decor projects that I'm hoping will totally blow your mind. We're going to get really comfortable with the jigsaw today. I'm going to hopefully convince you that you can do it too. So let's get started with our first project, which is a Scrollwork End Table. I start by taking this 3/4 inch piece of plywood from my scrap pile. I designed a free printable, which I will link in the description box below for your personal use, but it's designed using an old antique railing pattern, and you can print it out on your home printer and then just tape them together. Then we just take some blue painter's tape and tape it to our plywood. Using graphite paper, we transfer the image onto the wood. Now it's time to take this piece outside. This is a jigsaw, and it's the first saw that I ever worked with. It is so handy, and you can get so much done with a jigsaw. These are not scary, I promise. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to want to clamp it to some kind of table, preferably one that you don't care too much about, just in case. Then you're going to take a drill with a very large bit, large enough for a blade of a jigsaw to fit through. Then we're going to drill several holes into the area that you plan to cut out and remove. Just give yourself several to start out with, and you may end up adding more as you go. Then we're going to just cut, cut away. You may need to back out and go in different directions, but all you're trying to do here is you're taking your saw and you're cutting along the dotted line, so to speak, to the best of your ability. Now you'll note that mine is definitely not perfect by any means. Just do the best you can, and then the rest you can kind of sort out when it comes time to sand. So this entire cutting process took me maybe 1 hour for this project, and I actually don't think that that's bad when you consider how intricate our pattern is. My boys want me to come inside because it's a tad windy, but I'm not done cutting this out yet. We're almost done. No heavy wind's gonna stop me from getting my DIY done. It was pretty crazy wind, so I took my recording equipment inside, but I did finish up cutting, and I decided to hold off on the rest of the project until it died down a bit. But in the meantime, I'm gonna let you in on a dirty little secret. I can't believe I'm gonna do this. Come on. Are you serious? This is like way out of control. As far as I'm concerned, this makes us besties because I have not shown this closet to anyone. Lucky for me, I have discovered Mercari, which is a flea market style selling app. You can also buy stuff. I think I need to sell some stuff first. So I'm gonna dig through here, find some stuff to sell, and then I'm gonna show you how easy it is to use. And then after that, we're gonna go make some more stuff. So you're just going to go to the Mercari website or download their app. You can easily link it through your Facebook page if you like, or create a new account. Then they will send you a verification code, which almost comes immediately, and then you input that code. After that, you're going to need to verify your email, and it's as easy as that for registration. Then you can search for anything you're looking for in the search bar, or look at the different suggested categories. Look at this, they even have a whole section dedicated to Ray Dunn, which there's some really cute items. So I decided I'm going to be selling, for this example, a tulip arrangement that I made in a previous episode. So I did a little research to find out what an appropriate selling price would be. Then I click on sell. First thing you do is upload your photos. You can order them however you like, then add your description. You'll note here that I'm donating the proceeds of this sale to charity, but I think this would be a really good way to make a little extra cash because I think all of us have at least a few things that we could get rid of. Then it gives you 3 hashtags. Then you select the categories, any brands. In my case, I put handmade, then condition, color, and shipping. I set my price based off the research we did, then just hit list. And at At this point, it will have you put in your payment information, and that's it. I was able to complete this entire process, including setting up a brand new account in less than 10 minutes. So I can attest, this is easy peasy. All right, so we survived the windstorm. I don't know about our pool screen. We've got some repairs to do, but now we can finish our project and I'm so excited about it. Isn't that cute? And we're gonna make it look a little bit better now by just sanding, and we're gonna sand the front and the back. We're gonna sand some of these long edges and into some of the grooves the best we can with our hand sander. Now that we finished sanding this with our palm sander, I am borrowing my husband's Dremel, and it has this little rotary sand bit here. And we're gonna go in some of those tighter spaces with this. Now, you don't need one of these to do this project. You could definitely just use a sanding sponge and do it by hand. I just happen to have access to this, and so I'm gonna give it a whirl to see if it maybe speeds up the process a little bit. We're gonna build the top and the bottom. So I measured this 1x8 board to the same width as our scroll piece and cut it down. Now I'm just gonna warn you ahead of time that the 1x8 ends up being too narrow, and I end up switching it out for a 1x10 instead, which ends up being perfect. We are going to attach this to the top like that. But I think it would be a good idea to put on some wood glue. We're gonna line that up. This is an 18 gauge brad nailer, and we're gonna just shoot some finish nails in through the top, and hopefully we don't miss. Just to add a little bit more security, I'm gonna add some of these L brackets. You won't really see these. I've got the top on, and now we're gonna work on the base. I'm making it 2 inches longer than the top to kind of give it a decorative element. Plus, I'm gonna be reusing that smaller top to kind of add a little decorative edge and a little bit more weight. I attach it with wood glue, nails, and brackets, kind of in a similar way that we did with the top. But at this point, I decide to add 3 brackets, and I also add a couple of extra pieces of wood so that I could shoot some nails in from the front side and add a little bit more stability. Now we're gonna beef up our top by adding some trim. I take some 1x2s and miter them to wrap around the top, and I use some glue and finish nails to hold them into place. Now, as you can see me handling this table, you will notice that it is a little bit top heavy and it's easy to move around. So here's what I would do differently next time. If you want it to be more stable, I would suggest doubling the depth of the base so it was 20 inches deep that would slide underneath the sofa. I didn't end up changing this out at this time because once I slid it on my couch and did a dry fitting, it was super solid. But my sofa sits pretty low to the ground, so the weight of the sofa kind of is holding it into place and making it sturdy. And this is why I'm such a huge fan of just getting up and just trying power tools. I've had no formal training, and I'm just learning as I go. So this is something that I will know better for in the future. And it ended up working out this time around for me. But with each project, I learn new things and I just improve my skills. And that's how it will go for you as well. With our table built, it's time for the finishing touches. I take some plastic wood in a natural color and fill in all the nail holes and all of the cracks, and I allow that to fully dry. Then I sand it down so it's nice and smooth. And cover up the top with some paper and painter's tape, and then I spray the whole base of it in a white spray paint in a matte finish. Once that's dry, I come back in and distress it because that's the look I'm going for to kind of match some of the other pieces in my area. And then I do a technique on the top, which I've done it on a couple of other pieces, where I dry brush on some antiquing wax, and then I kind of blend that out with a little bit with a damp towel, and then I come back over the top of that and dry brush in some white chalk paint, and then kind of blend that out a little bit, and then I keep layering these back and forth until I'm happy with the overall look. Once it's all dry, I come back in and finish it out with some furniture wax, and that's it. Can you believe that I built this from wood that was sitting in my scrap pile, destined for the dump? I mean, I can't. I seriously can't, and I'm so excited about it. If you were to recreate this, I put in a rough calculation of around maybe $40 if you have a couple of basic supplies on hand already. This piece blends in with my other pieces. It matches up with my dining table. It also matches up with another end table that I bought off of Overstock for nearly $200. While this piece is maybe not completely perfect in every way, the end product is perfectly imperfect to me, and I smile every time I look at it. Today's episode is a collaboration with my friend Leonette from DIY Beauty on Purpose. She is amazing and talented, and she has come up with some amazing DIY projects that hopefully will inspire you as well. So after you're done watching this episode, make sure you pop on by and see what she has created just for you. Now back to our next DIY, which is a 3-tiered tray. So I have this deck spindle. I love deck spindles. I use them for a ton of things. I messed this one up for a project, but I think I can still do something with it, so we're not tossing it. Then I have this wood round. This one's, I think, 12 inches. I picked this up at Lowe's. I think it was like $7. I don't know, lumber's getting pretty expensive out there. It's kind of getting nuts. I think these used to be $5. We're gonna be making a tiered tray, and I'm gonna use this one for the bottom one just because I already have it. But I have this plywood that was actually totally free. It was part of the packaging for my new vanity that's going to be coming up in my bathroom renovation, maybe next week. It's coming soon, and we're going to make a one that's a little bit smaller. Now I will tell you, unless you make some kind of jig or have like some kind of setup, to make a perfectly round cutout with a jigsaw is going to be next to impossible. So we're going to just do the best we can, but it's not going to matter too much because we're going to do something around the edge. So I think the perfect size for it is going to be this cake pan. So we're going to use this as a template. We're going to trace it onto this plywood, cut it out to the best of our ability. Okay, that only took a couple of minutes. It's not perfect, but I think with some sanding, it can be really close. Now what we're gonna do is cut down the spindle on my miter saw so that we can do a little tier tray. Herein lies the dilemma of my scrap pile, because I look at that and I'm like, ooh, that could be something. My husband would be like, just toss that. But I'm like, oh, but it's so pretty. My problem in a nutshell. So first we're gonna need to find center, and I'm gonna do this on the underside. 5 7/8, and then I'll do it the other direction. X marks the spot of our circle. So then we are going to pre-drill a hole. Then we want to pre-drill a hole in the center of this. Let's get the screw through. I'm gonna put a little dab of glue on this just to see if that might help. Let's hope we get this on straight. Look at that! So here's how you do a dowel screw. You put it inside here. Gonna make sure that's super on there tight. And see? And then we kind of repeat the process, marking center on each wood round, stacking it up and twisting it onto the screw dowel, adding a little wood glue as we go, and on the top we add a decorative finial. Just so you have the dimensions of the tiered tray, the bottom round is 12 inches, the middle round is 9 inches, and the top round is a wood round that I got from Walmart for 97 cents and is 7 inches. To finish it off, I use this metal ribbon I picked up from Hobby Lobby for $3.99 as a way to trim out the tiered tray. On the bottom 2 rows, I nail it in with my brad nailer, and the top layer is much thinner, so I just end up gluing that on instead. I also add 4 wooden feet to the bottom just as a little extra decorative touch. The last step is to just spray paint the entire thing in a white matte spray paint. Now, if we would have just used the scrap wood for all of these circles, this would have probably cost me around $7 total to make. Because I used some of the other items, it was a little bit more, but tiered trays can get expensive fast, and I think this one turned out really cute. But what do you think? Now my next DIY is going to be like a casserole tray. This tray is going to come in hopefully real handy, and we're going to build it from scrap wood. All right, do I look like we've been building stuff or what? I literally cannot think of a more perfect first power tool project. This is going to be so much fun. And I've dug through my scraps, and I've got perfect scraps to build this with, but mine happen to be the right dimensions, which are 10.5 by 14.5. And I have these shorter scraps. We're going to cut them down to fit the sides. This is going to be fun to have. I'm really excited about this. So I am using 1x4s for the sides, and we are going to cut down the short sides first, and then we're going to cut the long sides, just doing butt joints. Then we just attach using wood glue and finish nails. I'm using a nail gun because I love my nail guns, but you could definitely use this part with just a hammer and nails. Fill all the nail holes with a little lightweight spackling. I didn't want to have paint on the inside, so I just used antiquing wax for the inside of the box. Then I had this turquoise color paint that I got in the Oops section for $1.25. I paint the exterior of the box in that. I put on these adorable handles that I get at Hobby Lobby. They're so cute and chunky, and they run $3 each on sale. I screw them in by hand, but the wood is soft enough to be able to do this. Then I made a decorative label on my Cricut machine. Now, if you don't have a Cricut machine, then you could just tape this off with some painter's tape in the shape of a rectangle and then fill it in with this new chalkboard paint that I got at the Dollar Tree. Then I scuff up the edges a little bit, cover up the silver screws with a little bit of brown craft paint. And I thought I got this next part on camera, but I end up putting some felt circles on the bottom of this just in case I want to use it on my dining table to prevent scratching. But how cute is this scrap wood casserole carrying tray? I think this would make a fantastic gift idea. Even if you were buying the supplies, it would be very affordable to put together. You could put whatever color on the exterior as you want. I have a feeling there are more of these in my future because they are just so darn cute. Don't forget to check out DIY Beauty on Purpose's episode that she's created just for you. And also don't forget to check out Mercari's website. It's awesome for buying and selling, super easy. And if you enjoyed this episode, here's another one that I think you'll like as well. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button right there. It's super easy to do. To join the DIY Niner family. And to all of my DIY Niners, I hope after watching this episode that you realize that you are more powerful than you know. We'll see you next time. Bye.